Coming to you from the Deep South, this is the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast. High-impact leadership is not reserved for leaders, and it has nothing to do with your position, title, or rank. However, it does have everything to do with your character. It's time to climb to the next level and beyond, personally and professionally. Now, let's start making it happen with your host, Mack Story.
Hello everyone, this is Mack. Just want to let you know I'm interrupting, not delaying, only interrupting my Blue Collar Leadership and Supervision series to provide you with a 3-part interview that I done with a person I met in 2013, Mr. Jason Denam. And he works in the electrical construction business, and he's a model and an example of why I do what I do. It's pretty cool. You're going to hear him talk about, I met him in 2013. He dove into leadership development, had never heard of it, but he dove into it like I did, got crazy with it, started investing in himself, developing himself. Within a year, he had doubled his income. From 2013 to today, 2019, he's more than tripled his income. That's what I'm trying to help you do. Grow and develop yourself. Climb in the same company, go to a different company, I don't care. Make it happen. Hope you enjoy this 3-part series with Jason, and Blue Collar Leadership and Supervision will be back Friday as scheduled. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Blue Collar Leadership today. Today I'm on part 2 with my friend Jason Denam, big dog electrical guy. He ain't gonna say it like that. I say it that way. out in Dallas, Texas. I'm so proud of Jason, and I mean, it is a pleasure. I mean, I've been talking to him since I met him. There's a few people out there, and, you know, Rhea and I, we speak all over this country, growing and developing blue-collar workforces, leaders, the people who support them, and that sort of stuff. And there's a few people who stand out, and I actually personally mentor them. That their owner don't pay for it. They don't even ask me to do it, and a lot of times they don't even know I'm doing it. But I invest in and pour into people who shine high above the rest, and Jason's one of those people, and we've kept that relationship going for 6 years now, and it's just been truly amazing. So thank you for being back with us for part 2, Jason.
Yes, sir. Thank you, man. It's an honor to be on here with you, Mr. Mack. I told you many times, man. You influenced my career in a way that I would never imagine, and where I'm at today, man. And I thank you for that.
You're welcome. I think you're still just getting warmed up. I always tell you I'm just getting warmed up. Me and Rhea, we're just getting warmed up. And for everybody listening, Rhea's with us. She's in the background. Hey, Rhea.
Hello, everyone. Glad to be back for part 2. Looking forward to some good leadership truth on this episode.
Yeah, Jason's sharing some stuff, but you and I feel like we're just getting started. That's the thing about it, isn't it, Jason? When you're growing, you don't ever get there, do you?
No, sir. You're always figuring out what you don't know, man, every day.
And then you're like, man, I wish I knew that. I've been doing it like forever ago, and I'd be in a different place today. But that's the part of it, right? So I want to ask you, as we pick up, I was talking about before when I came into your organization, the first place when I met you, and that company brought me in and got started doing leadership development. I didn't even have any books then. That was in 2013. Today, Rhea and I have 23 books, but back then I didn't have my own book. I wrote the first one in 2014. But when we came in, we didn't come in once and leave and never come back. But what do you think? Do you think? And I don't know the answer. I don't know if I've ever even asked you this. But if we would have only come in one time and left, and that was all the exposure you ever had, you think that one time would have been enough, or you think there was a lot of value in kind of let you get it and think about it and come? Just tell me your thoughts.
Oh, man, without doubt, continuous leadership training is the way to go. It's like sharpening saw on one of 7 habits. Dr. Covey's book. You got to continually do it. I mean, by y'all coming in multiple times and having multiple sessions, that was tremendous because, some people might not get it on the first time. The light bulb might not go off on the second to the third time. And, you're going to have those that go off the first time. But, the more you kind of, lead a horse to the water and let him stay there by the water, he's going to want to drink it, if he gets thirsty. So
put some salt on his tongue. We make him thirsty.
Yeah, that's it, man. I mean, it's just going to happen. So by y'all coming in multiple times, that kind of, started developing people. I mean, instead of, because he didn't have an in-house trainer. I think every company should have an in-house trainer or provide training services. I mean, it's got to be something that they should do with big events with their vendors. I mean, they should do it, with everybody that they interact with. So, but continuously, it should be always continuous. One time is good, but like you say all the time, it's like drinking out of fire hose because you get taken so much at a time, and leadership needs to be a drip. So, it continues to provide the drip for the leadership training you need.
Yeah, what did you actually start doing, Jason? I didn't know then. I didn't know you like I do now, but you came into that first class. What did you really? I mean, you didn't get where you at today because you came into that class. What started changing in you? I mean, what did you start? What happened? What did you start doing?
Well, my mindset changed. I looked at things differently. I took different approaches. Because I was already running jobs and interacting with people, but my interactions become to the point where I started getting letters to the owner of my company about how they like to work with me and how I was such a good working with everybody on the job sites, and because of my character, that obviously we built the buildings and installed electrical work, but you can put them, anybody, you can train that, you can teach that, and you can teach character development too, but it's got to be continuous. But the truth is everybody's not going to get it. So that's what I did. So I just worked on myself. I worked on my people skills, my soft skills. I worked on interactions. I worked on making positive deposits instead of making negative deposits. I tried to keep everybody's bank account in the green with their personal relationships with everybody, and that's what I started working on myself, man. I know what I had to do, and I work on myself today. I mean, I continue to have to work on myself every day, and it's not nothing that's ever stops. I like when you say, college is 4 years, but real learning is 40 years. I mean, it's 40-year degree out here, man. You gotta keep going. You can't just stop at any point in time, or you're gonna get left behind.
Yeah, that's good stuff. Talk about the friction, Jason. When you started buying in. I mean, I see this everywhere. It's usually what happens is when people bring us in, and especially if they bring us in repeatedly, and they haven't ever been doing this before. It starts to be a divide, right? The people who are buying into what I'm selling. Tell me about that.
Yes, sir.
Even back to 2013, what did it feel like and look like? You're buying in, and what do you have to hear, and that kind of stuff.
See, the big thing with me was, again, I love the company that brought me in from there, but I had a person in this company that I reported to that wasn't buying in. So that was the big obstacle. I mean, it's like a major obstacle for me because I was like, man, the owner of the company has brought this guy in, and he believes in it, and the owner of the company is in the class, and this guy ain't really coming to the classes. He's sitting in the back, but I report to him, but the owner's telling me I need to act like this, and the guy that he has managing me acts like this. Man, it just causes major confusion in the company. So that's what I went through.
And you had to override that in yourself and say, I'm gonna value this whether my boss values it or not. This stuff makes sense.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I had to keep pushing on. And my guys on my jobs, and that's and that's when my numbers on my job sites started, benefiting from my character. The competition, you can get out and get guys to work on a job and train them how to put panels up and pull wire. But if you can get guys to want to go in and put panels up and pull wire for you, that's the production. That's your extra production that goes straight to the bottom line. That's why, to today, my numbers reflect my character more than my competency.
Yeah, in general, I've heard you talk about you get. You hear me talk about it, and I've read it and researched it, and I've lived it as a leader like you, and I know it's the truth. When people want to follow you, you get about 40% more production than people who have to follow you. And you can validate those numbers. You've seen those kind of numbers, right?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. To the day, man. And, my current employer, man, I work for a great guy, man, and he actually started he allows me to do the leadership, man. I think a lot of this guy, man. He's great. He bought our literature and stuff, but he allows me, like I said, to use the facility to come in and train the guys. But the guy on my jobs, man, I'm 30-40%, on every job I have, and it's more or less, and got guys doing the same jobs, and maybe not getting that percentage, maybe 5 or 10, maybe 20% less. So we always try to hit the 21% mark, and I'm always above and beyond those. And I contribute a lot of it, most of it to just the character. And my guys want to go out on the job and work for me because they know I'm going to treat them right, man. They know I care about them. They know I know their families. And they know I know about the kids. They know I know about what's going on with them, and I actually value them.
Yeah, there's people out there listening. See, when you get leaders like Jason, because you high up the chain now, Jason. So there's people listening. There's people that maybe listening who are in the construction business or electrical construction business. And Jason, his name's Jason, Jason, Denam, Denam. And I guarantee you there are going to be people who hear this. It may be soon, or it may be a year from now, 5 years from now. But people who, when they hear leaders like you talking, Jason, people want to work for leaders like you. They're going to be people, as you get out and you get exposure and people know who you are, that's how you start attracting great people, and you no longer have to search for good people. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tell you a little quick story, man, about that same obstacle at the company, man. This upper management guy that I reported to at this company, he's come to the job site, man, and his character was so low that he would never speak to anybody on the job site but me because I directly reported to him. As I elevated and came to his position and even higher than the position he's at now, I make a point, like when I come to the job site, now guys know, but like when I first started with this company, I'd go around to the job site and shake everybody's hand and talk to them wherever they was working at. I don't care how many people I had on the job. Well, when I walked the job today, and my guys, anybody listening to this can probably vouch for it, guys come down wherever they're working at and come shake my hand and talk to me. And I don't count that as lost production. I count that as character. It's like bonding. I mean, it's valuable that guys know that I care about them. They want to come talk to me. They'll sit there and some talk to me 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever they want to talk about that, what they want to talk about during that time, I'll allow that. So, and I think that's great for the leaders on the job doing that.
Absolutely. So let's talk about that relative to that little principle we talked about a minute ago, where people who want to follow you are 40% more productive than people who have to follow you. You tell me what you think. I know Jason. You've been down there in the trenches. So look at it from their perspective, but also from your perspective as a leader, because now you're on the other side. But if a leader comes around and all they are is doing is jumping on you, if they talk to you, they're jumping on you, or they don't talk to you at all because they don't see you as important, versus somebody who comes in, shakes your hand, pats you on the back, knows your name, that kind of stuff. Which one of them leaders you want to follow and which one you have to follow? What's the difference?
Oh, you definitely want to follow the guy that value. I got guys, prime example, last week, 2 days ago, I had a guy who I done sent home on a Friday. One of the guys who's been working with me ever since I've been in this company. I had a phone call come in. I needed someone to go that was probably 35 minutes away from his house and during rush hour on a Friday. I called him up and said, hey, man, I got this problem over here. Can you go take care of it for me? Yes, sir. I'll go take for it, whatever you need. In that situation, man, if I was the other guy that they didn't want to work for and they just came to work because they had to, then I would have got to know. And I wouldn't have been able to perform service for my customer. And then so I told my customer that I tried to get somebody there. I had somebody there by the time the customer called back. I said, yeah, I got somebody there already taking care of it. So that created instant positive with that customer. And then he created instant, positive with me. I mean, helping me out. It's just a whole continuous circle.
It's good stuff, right?
Example there. Yep.
Absolutely. So before we get into, I want to talk to you on this episode about the book studies and that sort of stuff that you've been doing lately. But let's take it for a minute. Let's take it to the personal side. How in these last 6 years has learning this stuff? Because a lot of people, when they hear leadership development, they think that's for the boss. This stuff ain't got nothing to do with being a boss. This got something to do with being a good person, right?
Oh yeah, obviously, and my wife can vouch to me.
Yeah, tell me about that. How's it impacted the relationship at home?
Well, it impacted me tremendously. I mean, I'm in church now. You know, led me back to church and leadership, and you know, I actually worked as a member of the usher ministry at the church I'm a member of, and my wife's relationship, and she listens to Rhea, and she has her Rhea's books, and we talk about it, and I got my kids. My sons actually come to my book studies on Saturdays, and it's deeply impacted my family in a way that we communicate better. We think more before we speak, and you know, because it's one thing to be a person at work, but if you can be the person at work, you're at home. That, you know, you got to be the person 24/7, and that's been my, you know, that's everybody. That's going to be a struggle. I mean, you get out of character most of the time the people you're most comfortable with. So it's when you can stay in full character with the people you're most comfortable with, you achieve that milestone. So that's what I work on daily.
So you and your wife are both growing and developing. You're not. Was she growing and developing with leadership before you met me in 2013?
Oh no, sir.
So that means that's something you took home. You took it home.
Sir.
And actually,
you have to, man, because you have to speak it like you tell in your book, Mr. Mack. If you don't, when you read it, you need to go talk about it and talk about it to other people, and then once they start talking about it, then you got continuous conversation, and that's when you're developing.
Yeah, and I think that first place that I met you, that company, they let you bring your spouse and teenage children in there to that training too, didn't they? I can't remember exactly.
Yeah, well, they had one class for that, and that's why I opened mine up to spouses and children as well. So anybody can come to the book study that I have. You know, I'm like the spouses, and my wife comes, and my kids come, and my older kids, not my younger son.
Okay, and you're trying to, because your main goal is you want to help people have more options in life. You want to have them be better people. Yeah, they're going to do a better job. That's like a byproduct. That's not your main mission, is it?
Oh, no. It's just, but that's why I try to tell people, you work, you know, we all work for ourselves. I mean, we get out of bed. I get out of bed for me, my family, myself. And I go to work for myself every day. And that's the mindset everybody has to have. And when you have that mindset, you know, you need to work on yourself and add as much value into yourself as possible.
Good stuff, man. And I don't know if you want to share this. Might be too personal. You may not even remember, and I'm not going to say it because I don't know if you want to share it. But you shared a story with me a while back about yourself and your children, but something that I stopped doing a while back, and you told me you were struggling to stop doing it, but you started trying to stop doing it, and then your child, you're at school or something, and the teacher asked them something about your parent, and they told them something about you. You remember that story?
Yeah. We was.
Is that something you want to share or no?
Man. That's growth, man. I love to share this, man.
Okay.
So I again, that's, you know, work. You know, being very professional at work, and then at home being more comfortable. You know, I used to curse, you know, around my kids and everything. So I was at All Pro Dads last year with my son, my youngest son, and it's a little program that all the dads can, once a month on the first Thursday of the month, goes to the school, and we have breakfast and we have a little talk. So they usually ask the dad a question, then the kids can ask the dad a question, then we can ask the kid a question. And one of the questions was, what's something different about the attitude, something different about the attitude or something you've seen with your parent, with your dad. And then my son said, Dad, you don't curse anymore. And it was major that he's put that on the paper, because our kids, I mean, I lead my son. So if I'm leading him in that way, I'm also leading him in a not so good way. And when I saw that he realized I didn't, major impact to me. I mean, it was serious for me to hear that.
Wow, yeah, that's quite an impact as a parent, where you just know that you've grown and they notice, and you're setting a better example as a leader, as a parent. That's awesome.
And you didn't even really realize he'd be paying attention, because you had read in my book and heard me talk about it in my life. Used to, if I said a one-word sentence, it had 2 words of profanity in it. That's who I used to be. And we don't judge people who use profanity. People can say whatever they want to say, but when you grow enough, you start realizing all this stuff matters to people of high character. And you just decided to start trying to quit, or you did quit, but you didn't really expect him to notice it so much. But he noticed it so much that was the answer to his question. That blew you away, didn't it?
Yeah, it blew me away, man. It just made me realize that, again, that what you hear all the time, your kids watch everything you do. It just painted a picture, and it changed the color of the picture. The picture don't have to stay the same. You can put some more paint on it and change the picture, man. So that's what it did for me and my son and my life, my family, so that's great.
Good stuff.
Well, I'm excited to hear about the book study. So tell us a little bit more about that, because I know we've got a few more minutes before we wrap up this episode.
Okay, how'd you get started on that?
So, again, I was like, I had a major, I guess, eventful mindset that said, Jason, well, you can't get leadership development, man. You got to start doing something yourself. Through reading your book, Ms. Mack, man, you talk about it, in your book. So I took it upon myself. I said, well, Jason, starting this year, you're gonna commit every Saturday, the first of the month, to developing the people you work with. And I talked over with the president of my company now, a great guy, and he was on board with me doing it. He opened up a facility for me to do it. He even bought the literature that we were doing it with.
What did you start with, Jason?
We just started with books, Blue Collar Leadership, the Blue Book. Started with the Blue series. How
to become a high impact individual.
Yep. We had to work on ourselves. Everybody need to work on themselves. And I get in class and I try to get guys out of the mindset of work. I let them know, look, we need to do this at home and at work. The mindset in here is not to come in here. You're doing this for work. You're doing it for yourself. And guys, they bought into investing in themselves, man. I buy breakfast for guys, so Saturday mornings I go by this particular taco restaurant that has the best Texas breakfast tacos out here, man. I buy everybody tacos and go into class and we sit
That's
down.
out of your own money, right?
Yeah. I get it. And I get in there in class and I put I bring my speaker, my Beats PL speaker. I hook it up to my phone so I can have good sound in the room, so everybody can hear. And I sit at the conference room in our office, and everybody gets around the table. And I put out a big tub of highlighters, and everybody gets a highlighter, man. And I play the audible, and we talk about it. I mean, you go through and
y'all follow along while you're playing it.
Yes, sir.
Everybody's got a book, and then y'all listen to the audio.
Yes, sir. So everybody has a book, personal assignment by you, and that meant a lot. And I tell you, my guys, I had a special treat for my guys, man. They got to FaceTime the author of the book, man. That
you had an inside connection, didn't you?
Yeah, I had an inside connection, man, and they couldn't believe it. And I still hear them talking about it, man. Every time I tell a person about being able to speak to the person who wrote this book, man, it blows me away. But so yeah, we get in there, we listen to it, Mr. Mack. We go through, and I do that because the reading thing. I mean, I think everybody stumbles and you hear different voices. I think it's great when I put it on the speakers, man. It's real loud, nice, clear, and I play it on the audible, obviously, and we highlight, and then when we get finished, I go around to every person, and every person has to talk about one thing they highlighted, which they usually have several things they highlight, and discussions usually get longer than they need to be. But I don't never stop. I don't never stop a discussion. We just sit down and talk about it and have a good time. We always go over the allotted time, but that's fine too. We having good conversations, so we just do that. We do like 5 chapters a Saturday, and just knock it out. and we actually this coming up Saturday will be our last of the blue book, and we'll be going into the supervision book. I wanted everybody in the class to get the supervision mindset. And one of the guys in class, it was like, well, why ain't a supervisor yet? I said, man, you got somebody helping you out in kind of day? And he's like, yeah, I got people helping me out. And I was like, well, you leading him, man. You don't think of it as supervision. You know, that's just don't get caught into the name. You leading this guy. So,
influencing, right?
Yes, you're influencing this guy. So he's like, yeah, I want to be a supervisor. I said, we need to go through the supervision book then. So
there you go.
Got upper management. I got all levels. I got guys from the field. I got estimators. I got managers. I got management position. We don't call ourselves managers. I'll tell you an interesting story about my dad on the next episode about that.
Okay. All right. And so that's pretty cool. So you got everybody sitting around the table. It's not about positions and titles when it comes to leadership development, is it? It's about people who are hungry to grow and get better. They're sitting at that table as equals. They got equal input. Everybody sees each other as people who want to grow and get better. It gets rid of all that junk, doesn't it?
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And the thing that makes it so valuable is mine is our volunteer. So, you know, it's a bad apple ain't going to come and volunteer and get in there. So, you know, it's all positive people, everybody with the same mindset. And that's why I set it up as a volunteer basis.
Yep. And I know we're getting close on time for wrapping up this episode, but do you have one or two kind of quick examples where something positive has come out of the book studies? You started these back in March, I think, so you've been doing them several months, but share a few positives that came out of it.
My top story, man, and if he listens to this, man, I'm going to say his name, man. If he listens to it,
he deserves to have his name said.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to say his first name. His name is Jose. He's going to be going to my class since day one. He got promoted last month from journeyman electrician into a job site superintendent. Tremendous character, and he come pull me to the side. He wrote a note to the owner of the company about, you know, thanking him for, you know, the literature and allowing us to do that class at his facility, and sent me a thank you note too. And it just meant a lot, man. It meant a lot to see the transition of just a few months, and he was already on the right path, but the leadership and him taking it back to the field, and ultimately, I think, you know, the owner of the company seeing his name on the sign-in sheets for that leadership class got him promoted to that level, because it was a couple other people that could have made that jump, but, you know, I guess, you know, that set him apart from the other people, and he got promoted.
That's awesome.
Wow.
So sounds a little bit like you back when we met, right? He's kind of
yes, sir.
You kind of paying it. You're gonna be Mr. Jason. He's gonna be calling you one day, calling you Mr. Jason, like you call me Mr. Mack. Right. So I think we got to wrap this one up, Rhea. We're about out of time on this.
Yep. Time to wrap this one up.
Okay. So if you've been listening to this is part 2. We're gonna come back with a part 3, and actually going to talk to Jason. He's read a lot of my books, a lot of my Blue Collar Leadership series books. I've got 5 of them now. And I just released a new book, Blue Collar Leadership and Culture, the 5 components for building high-performance teams. And I'm going to talk to Jason. The whole next call, I want him to talk about some of the books and some of the nuggets that he got out of it and why they're valuable. But we're going to kick it off the next episode talking about this new book on culture, because Jason just finished reading it. It just released a few weeks ago, and he called me the other night pretty fired up and excited. So we're going to wrap up part 2. So I hope you enjoyed this episode of the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast. Talk to you next time.
Make it happen, or someone else will. It might as well be you. Are you serious about taking your career and your life to the next level and beyond? Check out Mack Story's Blue Collar Leadership series books and others, now available on audio, along with paperback and ebooks at Amazon, iTunes, and Audible. Please visit bluecollarleadership.com to learn about Mack's books, programs, special offers, certifications, and more. Thank you for listening to the Blue Collar Leadership Podcast.